Buza Commissioner.
Thank you. The next question is from Joshua of Bukasa. And Joshua says, I want to know the tax on agro-business. It is that brief. And agro-business is such a wide scope. There are people who are involved in the actual production, agriculture at a commercial level. They are considered to be in agro-business. And if you're such a taxpayer producing for commercial purposes, you have a big farm, you earn an income from that, the only payable tax is income tax at the end of the year. Whether you're in animal farming or you are in production of crops, after you have made your sales, file your return on how much you have earned from your sales, less how much you have spent in inputs, in labor, and all your costs. And if you still have an income or gross profit, then you'll pay income tax, which is 30% of your gross profit. But the other area that is under agribusiness are those who add value to agricultural products. Either you add value on the milk to convert it into yogurt or cheese. Now those products that are vatable, like the examples I've given, you will, on top of the income tax, also pay VAT because you are dealing in a vatable value-added agricultural product. So that means on a monthly, you'll also pay VAT based on how much you've sold, the VAT you've collected on what you've sold, minus the VAT that you incurred in your inputs. Inputs like power, inputs like packaging materials, you'll pay VAT on them when you're buying them. So the difference between your VAT output and VAT input, you'll also pay it. The other category that are involved in agriculture are those who trade in agricultural products. Maybe you consolidate, pick from farmers, and then you take to the market. Again, the only applicable tax will be income tax when you have made profits from that kind of business. And of course, the advisory services. You advise in agriculture, you are paid consultancy fees. Again, you will only pay income tax, and if the services you provide are vatable, you'll also pay VAT. It's important to note that there are good incentives in agro business. One of the major incentives for those who are setting up factories to add value, you are entitled to a 10-year tax holiday of income tax. And there are thresholds that you must meet to benefit from this exemption. So for foreigners who are coming to set up factories here to add value to agricultural products, as long as they invest at least $10 million, they will be able to get a 10-year tax holiday from paying income tax. So you don't pay any income tax for 10 years. And if you're a citizen, things are even much better than if you're a foreigner. Because for a citizen, as long as you invest $300,000 in any agro-processing facility, you will also benefit from a 10-year tax holiday. Income tax exemption for 10 years. And that is if the factory is around Kampala. But if your factory is even smaller, out of the city of Kampala, and you have just invested $150,000, you still get the same benefit, 10-year income tax holiday. So every citizen who wants to enjoy this benefit, it's available to you, because many times you hear our citizens saying it is only foreigners who get exemptions. No, for agro-processing, as citizens, And now we are talking about citizens of East Africa, not just Uganda, because this will apply to citizens of the East African community. You can benefit from a 10-year tax holiday as long as you meet these thresholds. So generally, agro-processing is one of the most incentivized and exempted area. As you've heard, you can only pay income tax if you don't meet those exemptions, those thresholds for exemption, or if you meet them, then you don't have those taxes to pay. However, this is not to take away the fact that if you employ people, those staff of yours will pay as you earn, and you'll only be a collecting agent to charge them, pay as you earn, and you remit it to government.
Buza Commissioner.